Yes, I do.
That's an issue.
This is for the 3 o'clock meeting.
And both.
Oh, is it? Because there was a meeting earlier this evening. Is this one less well attended because it was in the afternoon? The other one this afternoon. This cold weather
And then
kept
we
me
have
away.
another one next Thursday.
Correct.
It'll all be the same thing, so I think.
Oh, it is the same. Oh, okay.
It's exactly the same, just like, whatever
Got
timing,
it. All right.
so it's just, I think it'll be spread out.
All right. It's sort of like a given that the mayor is increasing it. We'll find out next Thursday.
They don't understand. I know the NTA's removing fare box over at 1. So we'll still accept Metro cards.
I'm indifferent right now.
No, during this.
She did?
Oh, no, you didn't. Well, I've got a whole team of meetings there, yeah.
Because she, you have any issues?
Yeah.
So before I start the meeting,
Yes, sir.
and I mentioned,
Yes.
so our mutual
Yeah,
friend,
She's in charge of customer service, she's the vice president.
remember, but he couldn't remember where he was.
Yes, yes.
Rudy,
So, yeah.
I brought him up in a conversation. I said, guess who I bumped into? I brought up your
I
name.
have a.
Rudy Collins.
Oh, yes.
And
Yes,
he
yes. Many years ago I worked here.
So
Back
he
2000,
said, ask her what
2007.
department. I said, I don't remember.
Negotiations, transport.
Okay.
Either
Yeah,
under
he'll remember
or
from
I don't
my
know.
life.
No, he was,
Yeah.
he said, I remember, but
In the same department.
I don't remember the area.
Yes.
Okay, ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, you ready? My friend, please. So, yeah, we will have next time. Good evening. Thank you everybody's coming, and special thanks to all the members, distinguished members I should say, and since you all are here, some of them was not able to attend a early meeting, and that was just a little bit learning about whatever we did in the 3 o'clock meeting. We will be repeating everything same in this meeting. That's why we had the choice, and it was good. We have some questions back and forth with the public as well as our members, and I'm sure they will be repeated again. Since we have, I called the meeting, the orders, and I think we should have a roll call since we have almost everybody here except one person. And we start with our former chair and a distinguished member.
Dawn Falco, good evening. Jacqueline D'Agostino.
Anne Marie Reardon.
Bobby Galodi.
Daniel Walter. George Martinez.
Abby Victory.
We have a quorum.
We have a quorum. All right, since we have the quorums, so now, we are not going to approve, right, the minute of the last meetings, because we are not voting in this particular meeting. So it is for listening, learning, whatever is going on here, and we keep it as short and sweet, since it's not as cold as was yesterday, so you guys can leave early, have a nice dinner outside. So keep it, I'm sure you have a lot of questions, you should ask them, and don't hesitate, but keep them very short. Since that's done, I think, Mr. Jack, you have something to share with the members.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Gallagher, and board. I appreciate all of you being here. There's been a a long history of 15 years now. We're celebrating our 15th year in Nassau County, serving the public. And I've got to say, I've never had a more engaged, educated board to work with, which is reflective of what's going on with our public. We're obviously very, very rider-oriented, more than operationally oriented. That's been our gig since day one. So today we're going to learn a little bit about a lot of different things. Certainly are going to be listening and answering some questions from the board and the public. We're not going to ask the board to make any actions today. We have another meeting on the 20th, and that will require some board action at that point once we go through the process. So we understand that the FTA, Federal Transportation Administration, because we are federally funded also, requires a board to take action when we have certain items come up. So in addition to that, we do have a county charter that we need to adhere to, and that's really our function here today. But mostly it's communicating and what we're doing as a rider-oriented transit agency, right? So it's very important to us that we go through it. The first thing we're going to talk about is the Q3 scorecard, which encompassed September also. And if we are all Nassau County residents, we know what September is like around the county. A lot of traffic, a lot of construction, a lot of pot filling just in time for the winter, so then the potholes can be redug up. So that does affect performance, but quarterly we have a scorecard we report to the county on. It's part of our contract. It's our obligation to report on these. These are industry standard KPIs or key performance indexes. So as you can see, we put Q1, Q2, and now we're in Q3, so for comparisons. And remember that these are what we call liquidated damages or incentives, but in actuality, in 15 years, no one's ever written us a check, and we've never written a check. These are just credits and debits that basically show how we've performed and what our performance goals are. So on-time performance for fixed route for Q3 took a little dip, as it usually does, because again, it's September, about 89%. Right now, currently, we're running at 91%. We're back to our 90s on-time performance. And if our transportation department was here tonight, they're busy running buses, I would push them to hit 94%, and they call me crazy, but we're striving for that. Missed pullouts, I will explain to the board. Missed pullouts are right outside our window here. There is what we call the fueling apron. It is literally where we park our buses before we pull out in the morning, midday, mid-afternoon, and evening, 4 shifts. And we measure how many buses leave on time. Okay? So if a bus does not pull out within 5 minutes, that's our on time, then it's considered a missed pullout. It does not mean it missed service, it just means it did not leave the depot on time. It could be because a driver was late, a driver wasn't available, or because there was a mechanical issue with the bus. So our missed pullouts, you can see, are minuscule compared to the roughly 200 pullouts we have every pullout, 4 times a day, 1,000 pullouts a day, so that's a lot of pullouts. So very minuscule, we get them out on time. Accidents per 100,000 miles, we travel 1 million miles a month. To just keep that in perspective, 1 million miles a month. We have approximately 540 operators in fixed route service doing 1 million miles a month. They do get in accidents, or we count all accidents, whether they be preventable or not. So our accident ratio, as you can see, has dropped quite a bit. Great job by our safety performance team and our training team to get those folks in line. So fixed route service, we ended up with a $15,000 credit. High five to us, doesn't really mean anything, just means we're doing what we should be doing. On the paratransit side, we have a much more sensitive customer there. We call them our clients. Fixed route, we call them our riders. So our clients there are disabled, and we have to go to their homes and pick them up, and we have to drop them off at designated locations throughout the county. So a call answered ratio, they have to call to book an appointment for a pickup. So call to answer ratio within a certain period of time, it's usually no more than 2 minutes. We want to pick up that phone within 2 minutes. So our call answer ratio is 92%. Again, our minimum is 90%, very, very high. It's good, but not good enough to earn an incentive. On-time performance, 81%, again, took a dip. Our minimum requirement is 85%. We really want to get to 90%. It's a shared ride service. So remember, pick up, drop off, pick up, drop off, pick up, drop off throughout the county to get to your final destination. A little challenging. Sometimes it takes up to 20 minutes to load a client in a vehicle because they're in a wheelchair, they need help outside the door, they need to be put in the vehicle, strapped down, and then we go. So sometimes it takes 20 minutes. So it's hard to judge exactly how to schedule those trips. We do the best we can. We need to do better though. Missed pullouts, the same thing as fixed route. Again, it does not mean that we missed a trip. Accidents per 100,000, great. Really, really excellent performance there. I think we had 2 accidents all month. And again, both of them were not what we call non-preventable accidents. Someone hit us. So very, very, very high performance there. Productivity is interesting. Passengers per hour. So one thing we're all concerned with is ensuring that we are good stewards of the county and state and federal money. Okay? We can run empty buses all day long, but what's that do? All it does is burn county taxpayer money. So passengers per hour basically says how many people can we put on a bus per hour. It's a tricky KPI because the more passengers you put on a bus per hour, you're more efficient, but customer satisfaction drops. Okay, so it's a weird kind of, okay, where do we find the sweet spot where we're efficient, but we don't make our clients angry? Okay, it's public service. We're a public transit agency. Multiple people aren't going to be on a bus, but sometimes our clients don't have the patience for that. So it's tricky there. So productivity per hour, we took a hit. We knew our on-time performance was not doing well. We didn't want to put more people on a vehicle, so sometimes that becomes a challenge. So not a bad month, not a bad way to end-ish the year. The fourth quarter tends to be pretty good. Our performance tends to flourish in the fourth quarter. There are lots of other KPIs we measure. All our KPIs are passenger driven. We don't measure anything, and I don't care about anything other than what our passengers experience. So I don't really look at cost per maintenance mile, other than knowing that sometimes relates to more reliability. So that's very, very important to understand. Omni. Yay. Finally talking about it. So Omni is a state program, not an MTA program. It is a state program sponsored by the DOT, pioneered by the MTA. Give them a lot of credit for an agency that big. They came up with something very cool. This is a new replacement to the MetroCard program. The old paper MetroCard with a mag stripe on it that is a pain in the butt. You put it in your wallet, you pull it out, it's like, I'm gonna fix it, stick it. It's old technology. So Omni is the new technology. We have a reader that sits up on the counter there. It's not plugged in, obviously, but that's what the reader looks like. It will sit next to the fare box. If you open up this picture, the driver sits right here, and this is the boarding area, so it sits right next to the fare box. It will allow passengers to pay with an Omni card that you all have, a credit card, a smartphone, or a smart watch. Okay? So it replaces the MetroCard. We've been working with the MTA now on 3.5 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. I wasn't a grandfather when we started, but so. But in the short term, here's what's going on the next few months and what we've already done. Installation's going on right now. Literally, we have 10 buses being installed tonight. Every night, about 6 to 10 buses are being installed, wired. This needs a modem, the whole thing. So our goal is to go live January 4th, right around the corner. Okay? We have street teams out there publicizing to our riders. The QR code is everywhere. You see it in the room. You flash the QR code. It goes directly to our website. It tells you all about Omni and how to use it. Erica, everybody knows Erica. She's done a great job with a team of 3 to publicize this thing. So very, very, very cool. Excuse me. What we have to understand is, so the MTA is removing the MetroCard machine from Rosa Parks on December 17th.
Wow.
That's going away. Does not mean MetroCards will not be accepted on our buses. It just means you won't be able to buy a new MetroCard. There's a gap there, and we're trying to fill that gap. Ideally, we would launch Omni the same time the MetroCard machine would go away. But we don't control everything. We try, but we don't control everything here. So we're working through those programs right now. The great thing about this program is, number one, you have a card. You'll be able to buy it at the little convenience store we have at Rosa Parks, or at a multiple amount of retailers throughout Nassau County, not just Rosa Parks. MetroCard, you only were able to buy it at Rosa Parks or if you went into the city. So this you'll be able to buy in a lot of different locations. The retail network is not built out yet. It will be built out in the first quarter of the year, after it really gets established here in Nassau County. We don't have control of that, but we're pushing very hard, okay? So the MetroCard, even though it's not being sold, you can still use your MetroCard. You can still use cash. You can still use Go Mobile. Or if you don't have an Omni card, you can just take your credit card and tap the system. Okay? So a lot of different options. But it takes education to convert everybody. We've had MetroCard for how many years now? It's going to take education to convert everybody. Luckily, we live in the shadow of New York City. A lot of our passengers are familiar with the Omni card already. And I don't think the transition is going to be a huge deal, but we are going to run into problems. It's the reality. Someone won't understand the whole system and will get frustrated. Someone can't find an Omni card and will think that's the only thing they can use. A driver won't be fully educated. We try, but sometimes that happens. So all those things will happen. We'll work through those problems very quickly. That's what we do, and we get back on track. The great thing about this is it automatically opts you in to what's called fare capping. Automatically. In the past, you used to have to buy an unlimited MetroCard. Now, as soon as you buy an Omni card, you are enrolled in fare capping. What is fare capping? After the 12th ride, correct, Erica? After the 12th ride, the 13th ride and on in a 7-day period is free. So now, again, Jack, you could say, well, that's kind of aggressive for a suburban community. Not really. I think we're going to see a lot of people actually take advantage of that and start using the buses more as a lifestyle than just a commuting option. I think. We'll see how that goes. I mentioned it in the first meeting. I have no idea, and there's no way to model what this does, what fare capping does. I have no idea. Our financial people have no idea. The MTA has no idea. We just have to see how it rolls out and what it does to affect our, what we call fare box recovery, how much we use. Again, we are one of the highest fare box, I think we are still the highest fare box recovery in the nation. Wow. In other words, what we collect from fares is a higher percentage than any other agency in relation to the cost of service. Remember, fares traditionally are about 12%, 15% of the cost of the actual service. Here we collect almost 27% in fare box recovery. That's because we run an efficient system. We don't run a lot of empty buses. And again, that has some drawbacks too. That means we don't have frequency all the time in every location, but again, we're very efficient. So we're very excited about this. You all have Omni cards there. The one thing that's important to understand with fare capping is it is once you tap on that card or your phone or your credit card, it doesn't combine all those trips. So if you're going to take advantage of fare capping, use one vehicle. Use one, either the phone, your debit card, or the Omni card. But you can't use all three. They won't credit you for those trips. That kind of clear? I know that's clear for you
And
guys.
if you're using a credit card, the network realizes that credit card has been used.
Exactly. It's a very smart system. And so originally also someone asked about,
Excuse me, hold on one second.
yeah,
We're gonna hold our question and make a note. The minute he finish, we will be the first to ask question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
thank you, Chairman. Another question was brought up earlier, and I should have brought it up. It's a very secure, safe system. It's all done on tokens. So, okay, I don't want to go in the weeds, but when you register your card, it has a number. That's the only thing that the system's going to see. Everything else is tokenized and separated and blockchained off so that someone can't really see or hack the system to get into your card because it's all compartmentalized. That's the best way to think of it, is, okay, I'm using a credit card and I lock my credit card in my car, but I'm going to use the system in my house, but that's locked so no one can use that, and my computer's locked in a room inside my house, and so nothing is easily accessed. So let's keep our fingers crossed that no one smarter than me figures it out. So let's talk about really why we're here to talk, and that is to bring up the fare increase. So the MTA approved a fare increase a little earlier this year to raise fares basically a dime, which is about 4%, a little bit more than 4%, 4.28%. So it is the smallest fare increase that we've had in my 15 years history here. Why is the fare increase important? The fare increase is important so that we keep transferability between us and the MTA, especially with Omni. Without the fare increase, what would happen is when I go to the county line and I transfer to a subway, I'd have to pay a whole new fare. The system, especially Omni and the MetroCard, did not allow for a step-up fee. I couldn't pull a dime out and go, well, here's my transfer step-up fee. No, it doesn't. The driver doesn't. There's nothing. What am I doing with a dime? You can't. So you have to pay a whole nother fee. So without, and I'm going to go through these numbers here in a second, without the transferability between our system, 40% of our riders would end up doubling the cost of their commute. And that's a big hit. That's a big hit. So yes, people that stay within the county are going to pay 4.5% more, but the reality is that's what the reality is. Again, understanding that our fare structure contributes a lot to our operating revenue, 4% doesn't even cover our increased costs this year. Right now we're looking at a 7.5% increase in baseline costs. So I'm not saying we have to take it on the back of our riders. That's not my point. But my point is that every 3 years or so we assess that and make sure that we're able to offer the same amount of service or more as we go forward. This allows us to at least tread water, and as we go forward, again, allows that that transferability into the city system, into both subway and bus. So let's go through the numbers here. For an adult regular fare, it goes up a dime. Senior fares go up a nickel. Senior and disabled fare goes up a nickel. Student and child transfers don't change at all. We go down to single ride ticket, e-ticket, that goes up. And I'll preempt the question, why does that go up so much more than others? Credit card companies have a minimum charge that they put on anything. You've gone into some stores, I'm sure, that said, you know, in order to use your credit card, you gotta spend at least $10. It's the same here. Again, for $325, we're spending potentially 10% on just a credit card fee. So that's why that single ride is so expensive. We net out so much less on that single ride because of credit card fees, and we pay an Omni fee also. So that really becomes very little of what we think it is. The 7-day ride, unlimited ride, they're replaced by the 7-day rolling fare cap, but that basically goes up $1 based on how you look at things. This 30-day unlimited ride has been discontinued again because we have the fare cap. The 20 packet e-ticket, again, that's that e-ticket, goes up by $2. Paratransit does not change. So that's how it lays out. Again, it's the smallest fare increase we've had in 15 years. It's never easy to put a fare increase in because every fare increase comes with what we call rider shrinkage. There's a point where riders say, I'm not going to do the bus anymore, I can't afford it, or it's more economical for me to do something else. And we tend to lose riders in the short term. But again, the benefit of that transfer allows us to keep our rider base intact and allows some value to the system. So in front of you and through email, you did receive the Title VI study. Title VI study is an FTA mandate. It's a study of the population affected by the fare increase. It's also required when we do service changes. If a service change is 25% more or 25% less of what is currently being offered, we have to do a Title VI study. What does it basically do? It basically says that we have studied the population that's being affected, and we have not disproportionately affected communities. Communities of color or low-income populations disproportionately than the general population. There are mitigating factors also that can come into play in our mitigation. There's 2 mitigations that we put in here. Number 1 is the fare capping. Fare capping will be a value. Number 2 is what we do with the United Way. Okay. The United Way and us have set up a program where we have distributed free Metro cards. This year we'll give away $45,000 of free Metro cards to United Way program affiliates that will then distribute them in the community to use for education, healthcare, training, job training, food aid, location to go to, for example, our food banks, that kind of thing. For Nassau Community College is one of our biggest recipients. They give away $15,000 or so of free Metro cards to students, underprivileged students who don't have a way to get to the college. So that's how some of the mitigation in there. It's not perfect, but over the years, I think this has got to be updated. We're about $1 million, about $1 million worth of free transit services throughout the years. So that's part of our mitigation study. The fare equity analysis found no disparate impact on any particular community. The pain is spread evenly, and I know that's not a good thing to hear, but that's the best way I can say it. We try to do a good job in trying to help what we can when we can do it. So that's my presentation for this evening. I'm open, Mr. Chairman, to questions from the board, and then as Mr. Chairman, as you see fit, questions from or comments from the public.
Greatly appreciate if you can stay there. Can we put the light on? Thank you. Sharia victory in middle of the question. That as a chair, I have little privileges, but I also have responsibilities. Council, I'm going to put you on a notice, okay? There are two things that stands out to me. One is when you use the word we have increased, we don't have increase yet. You proposing to us your increase. I want to make sure it's correctly framed. So we don't have increase yet, you're only proposing to us those increases.
Correct.
The second thing is, and I appreciate all your, so I had the privilege now because I already attended the early meeting. So I learned something about that their charitable work they do.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you
Next time you're going to sit right here.
said. I'm sorry.
The charitable work NICE does by giving the cards or fare or whatever else they do. And when Mr. Jack just pointed out, it's almost in millions. I want to make sure for the record, it's not a millions per year, it's millions throughout since you guys are here, but per year is somewhere between 50,000 to 100,000. Is that fair statement?
Correct.
So I just want to make sure on the record it's clear. I was confused in early meeting when they say millions, I said where the millions going? So I appreciated you clarify to me, and I want to make sure I share with our members as well. So council, do you agree with me the statement I made on the fair increase is only proposed yet, they don't have it yet?
Yes, I agree with
Okay,
that, yes.
thank you. And I want to make sure the board can. So, sir, no, you go first because I interrupted your question in middle of
Well,
it.
that question
And
was
keep it
answered.
short, sweet, if you want to go early dinner, okay?
I have two other questions.
Yes, Mr. Ricker.
One of them, obviously going to the Omni system is great. What about some people have an old Metro card that they don't use for a while and
Yeah.
they dig it up a year from now? What happens to people who come back and
Yeah, so that's a great question. Right now, the MTA is swapping that value out to an Omni card. They can only do it in the city. You can't, they don't have a location here to do that. The MTA is gonna be pretty strict. They're gonna give us a hard date and say, if you have value after June 30th, welcome to the Antique Roadshow. You know, keep it as a
so
momentum.
that's gonna be?
Yeah, and we don't have a hard date yet. Let's go through that. We don't have a hard date yet. I'm just saying that. But you can go to the city and change that value out for an Omni card.
Okay. One other question is, you mentioned all of your buses leave here. Is this the only location, departing location for all of our buses?
All 286 buses and 50 non-revenue vehicles, support vehicles, all dispatched from here for fixed route. Stewart Avenue, which is a third of a mile from here, dispatches all 110 paratransit vehicles.
Okay.
So we have those two locations.
So, Nassau County is a large county,
Yeah.
They go from here to the South Shore and go
Yeah.
up and down Sunrise Highway.
Yeah,
I'm sure you have done this, but have you ever looked at having another center in other parts of Nassau County where they don't have to spend so much fuel going back and forth?
yes, yeah. So there, Mr. Victory, there's a location that we have in Rockville Center that also used to house 40 vehicles. Previous administration asked us to close that location for efficiency's sake. When we were contracting service, that hasn't happened in a long time. We've been expanding service. So with our partners in DPW, we're looking at ways to reopen that center potentially and use it for exactly what you were speaking of. Perfect.
Thank you.
Sure.
Is yours short and
Thank you.
sweet and effective?
Well, I would like to repeat the questions from earlier, but I'll be able to make them more concise because of the information that we've shared and discussed. I had asked why in the comparisons Baltimore wasn't used as Mike Setzer used to. So I'll give you the opportunity to answer that again before I go on to the next.
So Mr. Sesser, my predecessor, was here till 2016. What we like to do is compare ourselves to the most innovative system out there, whatever that is. Currently, Baltimore is not that system to compare it to. Baltimore's a great system, but not the system. Places like TriMet, Oregon, is one of our premier, if we could have $100,000 million, we would do everything TriMet's doing, or any other system. So we try to throw around a lot of whatever's more innovative at the time.
All right, I also asked why e-ticket prices are higher, and part of what you said was that costs are 10% with the mandates of credit cards and whatever, but if you were involved more with retail or even doctor's offices now that are adding surcharges, the most anybody gets charged on a credit card charge is like 3.25% if they have a bad program. The more volume they do, the cheaper that interest rate is. So if you could just elaborate more on why it's 10%.
I'm not saying it's 10%. Some credit cards do charge 10% for processing. Our average cost to process a credit card at $3.50 is about 7%. That's much higher than the average. Why? Because it's such a small number. That's their minimum charge that they're going to use to process a $3.50 charge. So let's just say they charge us 75 cents, 20 cents, 25 cents. I don't know the exact number because it's different per credit card. So let's just say it's 25 cents. That percentage is higher as a dollar amount compared to what they would charge us on a $15 charge. It's still 7%, but again, it doesn't eat into the baseline cost of that product. So that's why that charge has to go up.
Okay, and the last question I'll ask, combining it, we discussed Title VI before, that the statistics which eventually require the signature of approval by the county executive or his representative, which is something that when I read deeper into it in between meetings, I found out about. In the Hispanic, Black, Indian, and Pacific Islander categories have statistics that say either less than 0 or negative numbers, which I still can't fathom that with having negative people or less than 0 people.
So a couple of different things there. It's a good question. Number one, statistical on a large scale, you can have negative numbers. You can have negative, number one, remember, these numbers are provided to us by the U.S. Census Department. We don't make these numbers up.
That's why it's not logical.
Well, number two, remember, people like me identify in multiple classes. If I identify this year in a multiple class, but next year I decide I'm not a multiple class, I'm going to change that number. So statistically, on a large scale, you can have negative numbers. There's a lot of variables there, but they don't move the needle. The point is they don't move the needle. Whether you have a -1, a -15, or a -20, you don't move the needle in a population of 1.4 million.
Well, just to say, if I had to be the one signing it, I would resist signing something of that ilk. It doesn't sit right with me. So
Okay.
I am finished,
Understood.
Mr. Chairman.
Please, thank you, sir. Please next time, put in the category of Indian.
Okay.
He's officially adopted.
Right.
Okay, very important, just forward chair and distinguished member of the panel.
Now, I have a question, I don't know whether or not you'll be able to answer it, with respect to the Metro card versus the Omni card or a tap and pay. I know that historically, unlimited cards for Metro cards can only be swiped once per a certain amount of minutes to avoid fraudulent activity, right? That makes sense. However, I noticed with the new Omni program for tap and pay, if I'm looking to pay with the Metro card though, if you just put a monetary amount on, you could swipe it 10 times in a row for everyone behind you. but I noticed with the new tap and pay on the Omni, I'm unable to tap for myself and then immediately tap for, let's say, a child behind me. It will not allow me to use my credit card twice in a row. And there's a wait period. I don't know why. Would
So-
you know anything about
And
that?
Ms. Falco, I'm not gonna answer your question because I'm not as knowledgeable. I think it's a 3 max tap, but I'm gonna ask Erica, who is an expert in this. to
Can you
kind of-
please join on this podium, please?
And great job, Erica, on getting all of this going with your team.
So I just participated in a webinar with the MTA 2 days ago on business rules. I don't know why you're having the issues with your Omni that you are, because the rule is that within a 15-minute period, you can go ahead and tap up to 4 times. So that's once for yourself and then for 3 other passengers. After 15 minutes, you cannot tap again because that's a protection against fraud. Also, when you go ahead and tap for other passengers, the fare capping credit that you get, only you get. So for instance, you can't tap for yourself, then tap for 3 other passengers, and then have 4 credits towards that 12 ride requirement for fare capping. It's just 1. So this is what they told me. You might want to call 511,
Sure.
which is the MTA's information line, and explain to them that you're having issues with Omni as far as tapping for other riders, because that is not how it has been explained to us.
Did they make a distinction maybe between using an Omni card and Apple Pay?
It's all the same,
It is.
whether you're using a chip-enabled debit,
Right.
a chip-enabled credit, a mobile wallet that's linked to a credit card, or an Omni card. It's all the same, because that transaction goes into a little token with electronic lockbox, and they track it through there.
Thank you.
Erica, why don't you stay here?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
If there's no other question, I want to follow up that question, because now I'm hearing my chairman of the Human Rights Commission that that will be considered a discrimination, because the card is fully paid and it does not distinguish or separate the price of the rider. If I choose to spend my money on 4 of my friends for the same ride, the cost did not change. If I'm getting credit for those rides, and if I'm not getting credit for that ride, it will be considered wrong.
Yeah.
Because I paid fully for, let's say, the 12 rides.
Yeah.
So why my 12 rides is considered now 3 rides, because each time I took 4% you're paying them. So you might not be able to answer it right now, do not answer, but take it as a consideration or a question, because it's important to our members, it's important for the public.
Yeah.
And we must do what is right for the public, because you got fully paid for that ride. So they should not be discounted out those 3 rides. That was the one question. The second is, how much did you pay to the Omni fee? If you don't know again, don't answer it.
I won't answer that right now because we are not fully clear yet.
Okay, fair enough. Is another member have a question?
Yeah, I just want to, if I may, just repeat the question from earlier on, because I think it's important for the board to hear it all now that we're here. But the conversation was about the proposed increase. And I know it's a model that we can't quite see yet, but what is it, the forecast or the thought as to what are you going to do with that additional fare?
Good. That's a good question again. As I mentioned earlier, the increase does not even cover our increase in actual costs of operation. That being said, there's always a shopping list, and our shopping list is as follows. frequency, more trips, later night, longer spans. That's the number one request from our riders. If I can only get, late night rides every 10, 15, 20 minutes. So that's the number one thing that we would do. Very far back in second and third is more technology communicating with our customers. Whether it be screens at stops, and we have screens right outside. The stop out here has a predictive arrival screen, and we have hopes to put out 75 more of those screens in other areas. We want to upgrade our screens at Rosa Parks to match the screens at Mineola. Mineola has cutting edge screens, Rosa Parks has older technology screens, but that is so far back in our hopes and dreams. Our hopes and dreams always add more frequency. So, thank you, good question.
Any other member have a question?
I was just gonna repeat my question from this afternoon. I did mention, and it's gonna go with, backing up to what Mr. Victory asked. The Metro cards, they still will be accepted. So it'll be a time where, I said it might be important to get out to advocate to the riders and the clients to drain your Metro card first, before you start loading up. I mean, you can load up your Omni card, but drain your Metro card, use all those funds first, so that the riders understand that, that it's still accepted, not, it doesn't turn off
Yeah.
January 4th, they're not losing their money.
Yeah.
Use it
Yeah.
before it does turn on.
And Ms. Reardon, that's, a great example of why I appreciate the board. You think the same way we do.
Yeah.
It's a rider-focused service. So what can we do to add more value to our riders' everyday experience? The last thing we want is riders sitting on a junk drawer full of old Metro cards that have $1.50, $2.25,
Yeah.
$7, that kind of thing. So as part of our communication plan, which is pretty extensive, is educating our riders on using the Metro card first. We still take Metro card.
Drain that first.
Yes, still take Metro cards. So let's get those depleted first.
Mhm.
Again, I don't have a hard date on the Metro card shutdown. It's kind of fluid right now, but that's a great point. Great point.
I just thought of something.
Yeah,
to
one
go
second.
with that.
You finish?
Yes.
Is any other member have a question? Yes, Ms. Wilson.
With training the Metro cards, is it possible, let's say you have cards that have less than a full fare, to use multiple cards
Yeah.
to wipe them out?
Yeah, you can use multiple cards to wipe them out, but you're not going to get change back either.
No,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, if you're talking about depleting them,
Yeah.
you say a card's got $1.50, that's not a bus fare.
No, it's not, but you can use multiple cards or a combination of cards and cash.
Okay, I know the public is very important to be heard. I also want to put it on the record, even though we are a member of the committee, we are also a public. We are here to serve the public, and we are the public ourselves. So my last question, out of a question, if the board member can have a patience with me on that, I'm going to follow up that question that 3 ride doesn't count, 1 is a count. So now I took his card. It doesn't prevent me to use it, right? There's no name on it.
No.
So I just want to bring those 2 items together for your knowledge, for your purposes, so the public does not get discriminated, because I use my cousin's card, he
Yeah.
gave it to me as a courtesy.
Right.
That still going to count it as my right.
Not your ride, your cousin's ride.
My cousin's name is not on it.
No, but that,
But that card is associated with your cousin. So if your cousin registered the card, so let's say,
No, sir. It's my card. I give it to him.
okay,
He used it.
right,
There's no name, there's nothing say I'm using it or he's using it.
right, that's what I was mentioning. If you've registered the card, if you get a card from, I get a card from CVS. Right, I don't know where I put my cards.
No,
I
just
get-
pull any card.
Yeah, I get my card from CVS,
Yeah.
or I use my credit card. And I
Yeah.
give my credit card to my cousin,
Yeah.
or I use this card and I put $10 value on it.
Yeah.
I don't register it,
Yeah,
and I give it to Joe to use,
Yeah.
Joe, I don't get credit for it, but Joe gives me the card back now. Let's say
Yeah.
Joe gives me the card back, and I register the card,
Jack,
then
you don't need to register.
you don't need to
Yeah,
register.
that's where I'm
Yeah.
coming to, I
Yeah.
want to ask that question.
Yeah.
This is not a register, it's a token,
It's
let's
just
call
a
it a
card.
token.
Yeah, just a
Token
card.
don't have a,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a card.
Yep.
token have no name, this is just a card.
Yeah, it's just a card.
So, how come it get credit to me?
Well, you don't if you don't
It's
register.
going to.
If you don't register it,
It
no one
doesn't
can.
matter if you registered it or
Right.
not.
Right.
I purchased this card,
Yeah,
I give it to him
yeah.
to use it. He used it. No way that you know he used it or I used it.
Correct.
So I'm getting that credit.
Yeah.
So my point to you is, that's where the word I use can be discriminated. So that, please, don't have to answer right now because maybe somebody didn't thought about that. Those 3 rides plus one my own should be counted as a ride. Otherwise, it have a flaw. That's number 1. Number 2, I think I'm gonna hold that question, but I want to give the public, since he's sitting, meantime, I will take the privilege as a chair. But so far, thank you, but let me end my question with a compliment. Every member should have the right, will have the right, as long as I'm the chair. If they get chance, anywhere they see how good our bus service is, I'm sure they're going to come back with a compliment. If they see something is not happening right by our drivers or the company, whatever, I'm sure they should bring it out. So my compliment is, I witnessed it myself. There was a able ride, a very senior citizen was we were providing the service. The driver went out of his way. I witnessed myself, I took a extra interest which in the past I never did. And all I can say to you, if that's how all our drivers are, my hats off to them and compliment to every one of them. What I witnessed, he went out of his way like it's his own family member. He helped him to take that ride. So I will close that. I think the public have the chance to speak. Whoever wants to speak from the public, please raise your hand, state your name, and go to the podium and speak. Would you like to speak?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted, I think
No,
you
go.
had your hands up.
I
Why don't you
I'm
go
still,
first?
I'm still formulating my
Okay,
questions.
all right, okay.
So, you
So
gotta
please
introduce
go to the
yourself first of
podium
all.
and state your name and
Where you from?
keep the question very simple.
Sure, so, Mr. Chairman,
Excuse me,
look,
point of information.
Yeah, I
He's
have
got to
to do
also
that.
state who he represents in
What's
his
that?
group. He's got to state the group he represents also.
That's fine. Please,
Yes, sir.
Because it's got to go on the record.
thank
so,
you.
good evening, board members, and good evening, Mr. Chairman. So my name is Charlton D'Souza. I'm the president of Passengers United. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, and we represent passengers throughout New York City, Nassau County. For Nassau County, I think we're like one of the 2 nonprofits that represent the area. So I've been in communications with the MTA to try to get Omni for Nassau County. We've been mentioned in the news, News 12. We were mentioned in Newsday to try to get it here. So some of the concerns that we have is that, Mr. Chair, and I'm sorry, what's your, I can't see.
Bobby,
Bobby, okay.
Kaloti.
Kalodi.
You can call me Bobby, so.
Okay, so Mr. Kalodi, the concerns that we have is that Hempstead Transit Center,
By the way,
according to
fine.
what we've been told, they're not putting an Omni machine for passengers to use. So what I was hoping that this board could request, and will request it from Governor Kathy Hochul and the state legislature, if the MTA can pay for the Omni machine and they can have it installed at Hempstead. Because at 179th Street, and you guys are gonna have a lot of problems with Omni. One, I advise Nassau County residents do not use your bank card because we've had bank accounts suspended because of issues with Omni. I'm the president of Passengers United and I buy a prepaid Omni. This is the safest way to go because you can load up your $34 and you get your 12-day fare capping as soon as you hit 12 rides. Now, to answer one of the questions that I think you had, Mr. Chair. So with the old MetroCard system, there was a 18-minute preventable activation where you couldn't use it for 18 minutes on the same bus route or subway. However, the way Omni works, before you hit the 12-day fare cap, other people can tap. You're supposed to be able to use up to 3 taps to get on the system. However, once you pass the 12-day fare capping, the card is locked only for 1 trip per bus route. So let's say if you use it, you have your 12-day fare capping, and you get on the bus, right? Then only you can board. Nobody else can use it, because then it becomes unlimited. Hopefully that'll answer some of the questions that you had. And the MTA does have safeguards for fraud, so there's something that you can look at the MTA's website, all the details are there. But what we wanted to know, and I wanted to ask you if it's okay.
You can keep speaking here and he's listening.
Oh, okay, good. So, the CEO of Nice Bus, I wanted to know, with each tap that a passenger does, how much does Nice Bus get from $3?
Before he answer it, please you finish your statement.
Yeah.
Everything, okay?
Okay, sure. So we have that, and then the other issue is, we're hoping that you guys will request the Omni machines, so they have that. But then, the other issue is, at 179th Street, when people go to buy Omni cards or load, the machines are very slow. So that's the issue. Now, obviously, Nassau County is in a different predicament, because you have a lot of retailers. You have 7-Eleven, you have CVS, you have Walgreens, and they do sell Omni. So I think that will be a big boost to Nice Bus once that system gets going. And there are some retailers in Nassau County that are already selling Omni on the Queens borderline. So one thing that I will ask Shanifa Rivera at the MTA, customer service, she's the vice president. I'm gonna ask her to reach out to all the retailers in Nassau, and maybe you guys at Nice Bus can reach out to some of these retailers and do an education thing. And I know MT has advertising on their buses that tells people to go to Walgreens, to 7-Eleven. Now, one thing that wasn't mentioned at this meeting, there's a 7-day fare capping for express buses under the new Omni proposal. The 60, I believe what's it gonna be, $60, $70, something like that. And Erica would probably know. I think they're gonna probably accept the express bus fare cap.
Sir, you can keep talking to us. okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because they have a lot of passengers who use Nice Bus, who also use the express buses in Queens. So the MTA has the fare capping for that. It's called Express Bus Plus. And I believe if my math is right, I think it's $67 or $70 is what the fare capping for that's gonna be. And actually that is more beneficial to riders because the 7-day Express Bus Plus, the old MetroCard system, was accepted on Nice Bus.
You have
So
one
I'm-
more minute.
Yes, I'm hoping they will do that. But we look forward to working with you guys. I know we will be having a press conference and a rally to make sure that Nice customers are represented fairly. However, I am disappointed there were no notices posted on the buses for this meeting. And that's why nobody's here, because they don't know about it. And every Nice bus should have a notice advertising this meeting. So hopefully y'all can do that for next Wednesday, or maybe make announcements on the buses, automated, so people can come to this meeting.
Sir, before you leave, everything you spoken, I know it's getting good, right, and we will have it. I still going to request you, I will give you my number,
Sure,
or do you have president's number?
sure.
If you text all those 5 simple questions that you had raised, they all have value. So we didn't miss nothing. Please make sure you send to our secretary instead of to the president. So we can raise those questions.
Sure.
And the next meeting, we will have some answer, maybe not all, okay? So we don't like to try to have a conversation on something, we might not be prepared for it, okay?
Okay.
But thank you so much for your presence.
Sure.
Thank you very much, bring up the question,
Sure.
they all was very valid.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we'll get that letter to you. If you give me a business card, we can get that to you on our letterhead. Or
Thank
to
you.
the secretary, we can get
Thank
that.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because that's how we work now.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. Is anybody from the public have other?
My turn.
Please state your name and your organization, as Mr. Bush said.
Name Alexander Hall. That's spelled Hotel Oscar, just 2 letters. Just a member of the public. I'm not representing anybody. Members of the board, thank you. CEO Kazoos, thank you very much for your presentation. Very good, great job as always. I have a few questions concerning this. One of these I was actually the one who submitted one of the questions via the website about the Reading Student Omni cards. I want to know at what point would that be just a week after the public comment section? Would that be brought up in this meeting? But I just want to make aware that after Omni is accepted, you might be seeing more of those being used. And those are issued upon request by 2 New York City students. They're actually good for 4 rides every day, and they're good for 1 year from, I believe, September to August. So inevitably, it's a there's more leeway on that program compared to Nassau County, NICE buses offering for students, which is only 2 rides on weekdays and can't be used for anything else. But just something to think about, to look at and look out for, because unfortunately, these Green Student Omni cards have went up on eBay, and they are used by non-students, but at the same time, you don't want to start geofencing, because we do have students who actually might want to come out here for enrichment or anything like that, to visit a museum, for instance. Okay. Second question I have for you.
That was the only one question, so?
No, there's 2 more.
Oh,
I got
okay.
2 more. Thank you, Chair Kalodi. The second question I have is whether Omni scanners are going to be installed on the rear door of the buses, because in practice, the rear scanner, Omni scanners on New York City buses have rarely, if ever, been used. So it would make more sense to just have them up the front. And the third point that I wanted to ask is that given the widespread acceptance, the anticipated widespread acceptance of Omni, in terms of the transfers and everything, and how you can refill it using multiple venues, what use might there be to still have the tickets, e-tickets available on the NICE app? Thank you.
I just want to say thank you again for your participation. We appreciate it. You look like you're not going to speak anymore, right?
I'm done.
Huh? Oh, no, there is no maybe. They're done. No, just kidding. I appreciate that. So also, again, I'm going to repeat what I said to Mr. D'Souza. Please send those questions directly to the president as well as to our secretaries. So going to the public comment in early meeting, I just want the member who did not attend the meeting, no public comment will be gone, because some of them could be not respectful, maybe we do not want them. I want to make sure all of them is given to the members of this committee. And if any member have an objection or have a concern, I want to make sure we, the member, are responsible not releasing that comment, not the NICE presidents, because it's not fair, it's not, I take the bullet where needed to be done, and that's the way it is. If we are the board, we are responsible. If we see that comment does not fit in a public domain, we're not going to shown or be told. And that will be decided by this committee before they allow that. But Mr. Alter, have a question.
If I may just ask you, you mentioned that you submitted a question. May I ask you how you submitted it?
Through the NICE, it was through the NICE Bus websites committee, not sorry, it's the public meeting page, the community meeting page. There was, I think there was a link that said, submit your questions here, and that's what I used.
Thank you very much for your pride and thank you for coming today. Joe, would you like to say quick?
Yes,
very quick. You have to go there.
Thanks, it's tall.
I'll go there.
Sure.
Thank you again.
Okay. I spoke at the earlier meeting. I won't repeat anything there. My comments were all taken down. Just another quick thing or two. I'm finding that my experience was different from what Jack had said about having a Metro card with an insufficient balance on it. I was not allowed to supplement that with cash. I put the Metro card in, it just popped out, said insufficient fare, and that was that. I had to dig into my pocket and pull out full fare of change. So if that's a something the driver could have communicated to me and didn't, or if that's simply not so, I'd just like to know what the situation is. I also have a senior citizen Metro card that expired during this year when the MTA would not take applications for new ones. That still has a fair amount of money on it, and right now I'm regarding that money as lost. So I don't know if there's anything that can be done about that.
How much is the money, Joe?
I don't know, I haven't looked at it.
How much was it when you started?
I usually kept about $40 or so on it,
We
but I don't
make sure
think
you are
it's that.
reimbursed.
Yeah.
We make sure whatever is not used, you get reimbursed.
And how would I go about that?
That I will discuss you after. That we might not be get from the
Okay.
NICE, but under certain circumstances, we might.
Thank you very much.
Okay? We might not.
All right, well, anything's,
But we'll
anything
try.
is something. And just something that didn't come up that we brought up during my first round of comments, the Omni card will allow 2 free transfers to other NICE buses, which the cash fare does not, which is why it was always preferable to use a Metro card rather than cash fare. So that is being carried over, and I just wanted to make that distinction in case somebody did not get that earlier. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Kazoos.
Thank you very much. If member have any questions? If I allowed to, there was one question I was going to ask that time, but I felt it's not fair if somebody from the public have to wait. So that question is, and it's very important, and I'm sure our member county will pursue that issue with MTA or whoever issue the Metro card. So if there is thousands of dollars left in that card and nobody used it, where that money goes, I don't know if it's in millions, I don't know if it's in, so since a lot of things are federally funded, we cannot take that money and keep it and become a public loss. So please don't answer this one, just is for your information that I will be, and I'm sure the board member will be asking, what happened to that money that people purchased those cards and money cannot be lost. They did not use it, so it means MTA or NICE, whoever have that money or our portion of that money, I'm not talking about the New York City money, whatever was our portion, we will be looking that money back from the MTA or the state government, whoever had it. So please keep it that in mind, and I will fight on that more fiercely than you can imagine. So, if there is no other questions, I thank you, all the members today attending. I thank you, our council. He's sitting so quietly, he's not telling me stop talking. Mr. Gallagher, thank you the public. If there is no other comment, on the end, I want to say thank you to you, Mr. Cruz, and to your staff, making it everything's as easy that you guys could, and making sure all our members have their IDs. And I want to share that publicly, even though you received the ID, I shared with Mr. Cruz. In the next meeting, there will be photographer in case you want to comb your hair and want to look good, so they can be, all have the same color ID. So there will be again, that ID will be replaced. Am I right, Mr. Cruz?
If you want a photo on your ID, I'll put a
Yes,
photo on your ID.
every member should have a photo ID. So, no, that's the county, but you also had the nice ID.
I have one.
You already have it, then you don't have to do it. Every other member who don't have it should be ready. And again, thank you. Now I'd like to have somebody to make a motion to,
Make a motion, we close the meeting.
do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstention, I have it, thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
Sean,
Second, Sherry.
Sean.
Aye.
You're the second, oh, you are the second. I'm so sorry. So,
The one that, the old ID is different.
Yeah, so we're.
Yeah.
Letting it out.
Let me take your question right
Thank you guys so much. This is my business card.
Bus operation.
So we really care about our response. I do want to say Erica and the president have been very responsive. Any concerns
They
you
said
have?
to us, you don't get
Okay?
They go, because they paid somebody, and still wants to go.
Wait,
Yeah.
I have other card. It's got number on it.
Okay,
But I
so
don't
that's
have
good,
my-
Bobby. Nice to meet you.
I don't have my regular.
Probably you don't mind asking.
Ask from my mother. Yes, India, yes.
Yeah, I was in Rajasthan. I went to boarding school.
Yeah, I never been to school. I have no formal education. Thank you.